don't come for you.
Welcome back, Santa Clarita Valley. We're here on your Neighborhood Watch, where every first and third Thursday of the month we talk about all things Santa Clarita Valley Sheriff Station related. And this time we have a very special guest. We have Commander Mike Parker of the Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department. Mike, can you hear us?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Perfect. Mike, just for those who haven't met you and aren't aware, can you talk to me a little bit about what you're doing now? You used to be a captain for the Headquarters Bureau, and you recently were promoted to the commander position. Can you tell me a little bit about the differences between those two roles in the Sheriff's Department?
Sure. My role as a captain with Sheriff's Headquarters Bureau was I was in charge of quite a few things, ranging from news media relations, press conferences, internal notifications regarding anything significant to let everybody know internally that needed to know, also managing and overseeing and actually implementing over 120 station-specific and topic-specific websites, Nixle, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest, YouTube, as well as overseeing our photography section and special events such as the Medal of Valor and other events like that. We would coordinate it, write up what all the awards were, and then I was the MC at many of them. And then also international liaison with 100 consulates that are in LA County that serve the one-third of the population of LA County that was not born in the United States.
And briefly, you were, I believe, spokesman for the sheriff, or are you still in that role?
Yes, I did also for with Sheriff Scott. I was the department spokesman for nearly 5 years, and then for the last few months under Sheriff Scott, I had the additional duties of being the sheriff's spokesman.
Okay. And did you say 120 websites?
Right. If you add up all of the different stations' websites, plus all of their Nixle feeds, Twitter, Facebook, every station has their own, as well as many of the specialized units have their own, and that gets into a strategy we can talk about if you like. But really, the number one thing is that, for example, in the community of Santa Clarita Valley, that Santa Clarita Valley residents would really like to know what's going on in their community, so they have a channel, so to speak, multiple channels that focus just on Santa Clarita Valley, and it doesn't cause them to have to drink from the fire hose, so to speak, of the entire county. And so by creating both geographic-specific and topic-specific information feeds, our focus has been to give the public what they want in the communication channel that the public wants, not what's easy for us.
Well, and you mentioned strategy, and I think that is pretty interesting because a lot of people kind of ask us, about the workings of the Sheriff's Department. And organizations and agencies like that large, they tend to have their missions evolve over the years. And you've been with the department for how long, sir?
Over 29 years. This year will be 30.
So can you talk to me a little bit about the changes that you've seen in the Sheriff's Department to kind of help meet those community needs and goals that you've seen over the years, what you think are significant?
Well, sure. Well, I'm dating myself, but when I hired on, we didn't have portable radios on our hips, and we didn't have computers in the cars, and I had a .38 revolver and no pepper spray, and the tasers we had were they weren't very good, and we only had a few of them. And so one of the things that's happened by improved and increased technology is that we're able to be more efficient, so we can get to a scene faster, because between using GPS and computers on board, and basically you create greater efficiencies that are more cost-effective to the public. So you can get your deputies can do more with these technological advances, as well as, for example, with these less than lethal weapons like pepper spray and taser, then we can use a much lower level of force in order to take somebody in custody and hopefully not cause any more serious injury. Pepper spray, although very uncomfortable and definitely uncomfortable at the time, you recover from that and you don't have any serious injuries. So these are some of the advances between technology, as well as even ranging to all the studies that have been done regarding what gets peace officers killed, and tactics and training, and even how sleep deprivation, all these kinds of things that help us to understand that, for example, half the peace officers in the United States that are killed at this time are killed due to traffic-related incidents. And so that has caused us to wear reflective vests while directing traffic, to be much more rigorous with our own deputies to require them to wear seat belts, just like we do the public. And those are all, I don't know if I answered your question, but those are some things that come to mind.
Well, and just as far as, you mentioned the technological aspect, how do you guys find that out and keep on top of like what's new and what's current as far as, that goes?
There are, that's another thing that has helped in with whether you're talking about social media, the internet, or so on, none of which existed when I hired on, is it's much easier to acquire information than studies that maybe were done by the federal government or another police agency in another state in the U.S. or even in the world. And it's much easier to acquire that information and then share it internally instead of, writing memos and then hand-delivering to people or using a county mail system that you might see eventually. And it also isn't as expensive because you can easily share that. Well, those, in addition to that, we attend conferences. I speak at a lot of conferences, and when I go there and I speak about the topic that people wanted to hear me talk about, I then listen to what other people are doing, and that's one of the reasons why we were able to advance through our communication systems, which many regard amongst the best in the U.S., and that's done because we don't just talk, we really listen. And so we listen to each other and gain from each other.
Now, as far as that new access that you're talking about, that increased access to information, does that make, for you as leaders and officers as well, does that make the learning curve that much faster, and do things change that much more quickly? Well,
it is quicker, but also the expectations of the public are much higher, because the public and the news media has the same access to that information because it's openly available on the internet. And so we get challenged all the time, whether online or in person at public gatherings or city council meetings or county board of supervisors meetings, is why are we not using this system that was so successful in another part of the country or the world? And so we have to stay on top of those things, and frankly that's one of my jobs as a commander over the North County patrol area, which includes the Santa Clarita Valley, that to always be looking for how can we do more, how can we be more efficient and provide the public what they deserve and what they trust us to do, which is the best job possible.
And I have a couple more questions about that, Commander. If we could take a quick commercial break and then bring you back on to answer those.
Sure.
Awesome. Well, you're listening to Neighborhood Watch with Commander Mike Parker, Deputy Josh Dubin, and News Director Perry Smith on your hometown station, KHTS AM 1220. We'll be right back after this.